Hello everyone, my name is Chris Titley and welcome to the Fintech Australia podcast. The Fintech Australia podcast takes listeners on a deep dive across the fintech industry in Australia, focusing on the challenges, opportunities and big stories our community faces. Let's get to today's episode. Hi, it's Chris Titley here. As part of the Fintech Australia podcast series, we've got the first episode, actually, Rowan, of the Business Spotlight series, which focuses in on members and their businesses and how they're all going. So, Rowan, welcome to the first episode of the Business Spotlight.
Chris, thanks for having me, and great to be here for the inaugural edition of this episode series. It's exciting.
Thank you. So, Rowan Wild, co-founder of HelpPay. Let's talk about HelpPay, the originations of the story and how it came about.
Yeah, so HelpPay was started after a bunch of us, a very like a lot of Australian businesses, after a barbecue, and a lot of people around the table just started sharing what was going on in their lives. And someone mentioned that they knew someone doing it tough, and then someone else chimed in with what they knew was going on in someone else's life, a good friend of theirs or a family member, and everyone's response was the same. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. What can I do to help? And the passion to do something was real, but the ability to do something was really hard. And so we as the co-founders sort of took that kernel away. We realized in that moment that there was something going on, and it shouldn't have been that hard to, flick someone a link or contribute or do something really meaningful and useful. And so we went off and did a lot of research, but that was honestly the genesis of HelpPay. Was a bunch of people genuinely wanting to do something. It was just too hard to do it. We thought, well, what if we just made helping easier? What if it was seamless? What if it was just a link on your phone? Why can't someone share their bill or part of it and, chuck in $20 here or there? And, then we said, well, I don't want to give money to a bank account. I can already do that. What if you just sent the money straight to the company? And then we realized no one had ever done that before. So we thought, well, that's a great problem to solve. That's a great challenge. That's a social good. Makes everyone feel good. And that's the origins of HelpPay.
There you go. And the idea of helping, obviously, during a pretty traumatic time for a lot of people, and the altruistic value of doing that. Did you think at the time they're like, oh, well, someone's obviously tried this before, and obviously, there's no problem, there's no solution out there, then multiple people have failed? Or do you think, oh, let's just delve into it a little bit further?
We did a lot of research. We looked into every company that had come before us. We looked at peer-to-peer payment sharing. There's plenty of that around. We looked at, the GoFundMes and other crowdsourcing technologies, and all of them did a really good job at moving money from one bank account to another. But what we found is that every other alternative that we can find anywhere in Australia, Asia, Europe, UK, North America, everyone stops short of actually getting the money that you give for a reason. And let's be really clear, when you're helping out someone, you're giving for a purpose, right? They've told you a story and you're like, oh, let me make a contribution to that. Everyone had stopped short at not actually making sure the money got to the company to pay that bill. And then again, during the research phase, we had a lot of people, as we were before finger was put to keyboard, before the first piece of code was written to validate it, a lot of the C-suite were like, we love this idea. And then they'd share their personal stories. We had one person told us, I remember when my niece asked me for $200 for the gas bill. And the next time I saw her, she had a handbag and a haircut and still needed $200 for the gas bill. And, that was a story, a very similar story we heard over and over and over again. And it was, I'm giving for a reason. I really want to help you, but I don't want to be taken for a mug. So what can we do to solve that? And so we partnered with BPay and the APIs that they just released at that time, and we built what we think is now a world first product. So anyone can add their BPay details for any BPay bill, any of the 60,000 BPay providers out there, put in 4 data points, the biller code, the CRN, how much is owed and when it's due, and we turn that into a link. And then that link with those 4 points of ID, 4 points of the bill. So no personal identifiable information is shared. We don't share your address. We don't share your mobile number. We don't even share your full name. That link can then be shared by you to your social networks, your family, your friends, just your mum, just your dad, just your brother, just your best mate, whoever. People can just chip in a little bit or a lot. And when they give, that money goes straight to the gas bill, the water bill, the electricity bill, council rates, whatever it is. And everyone feels good and everyone can just move on.
I'm seeing in my head there's a lot of sort of analogies with like that are almost quite there. One being like a renovation loan where the bank sort of pays the builder and whatnot, so that obviously there's disbursements. The other one is a personal loan, and people sort of go for again like a kitchen or something that doesn't go to you to spend your lifestyle, and you don't get the kitchen, the unsecured stuff.
Yes.
And then you've got other things around the place whereby you might want to pay for a bill, but you just don't want to ask for the bill. It's a bit sort of like a bit impersonal as well. A lot of similarities, but actually putting it together in an instance like that, which is easy, and the key component is shareable as well to the people that you trust. How have you seen the people, the bill providers, and the businesses that may want to be a part of this, integrating to their systems to make that magic happen?
Yeah, it's a great question. So today, right now, we've had thousands and thousands of users share bills with family and friends from over 285 of Australia's biggest brands. Nearly every bank that we can find in Australia, someone has shared one of their bills from them. Every insurance company, every energy company, hundreds of councils, dozens of insurance providers, telcos, everything, you name it, because people just need a bit of help, whether that's share housing and you're just splitting costs, whether you're moving out for your first time and you've moved across country, because that is or intrastate.
That'd be a really good use case, I'd imagine, for parents as a use case for their child moving out for the first time.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of people who moved to Melbourne to study, and their parents are in Echuca or Ballarat, and what they've done is we even had one user tell us, my mum would have loved this. I wasted so much of her money when I first moved out of home, which I'm sure it was great for the bar tab. I'm sure the local publican loves them, but it was really bad for mum, and they genuinely feel guilt a couple of years down the track, right? But if you basically want to give someone or look after someone, or if you need a bit of help and you want to know your money goes where it's meant to, use HelpPay, because it sounds trite, but you use HelpPay when you want to help pay or need a bit of help to pay. Businesses are embracing us because they recognize that they don't necessarily need a phone call to hear a customer's personal and record a customer's personal details and what's happening in their life to get paid. There's no reason an insurance company or an energy company or a telco needs to hear about someone's job loss, or they got rear-ended in a car accident, or someone's sick, in exchange for a bit of leniency on a bill. They just don't need to hold on to it. In today's hacking environment, where every second company seems to be getting hacked in the headlines these days, that data goes with it, right? So my personal account, if it was to be stolen and I told the company I'm in hospital sick getting treatment for years or something like that, now the hackers have that information. So we really do a lot of jobs for these businesses at a very ID secure place. The other thing is, a lot of companies, and I know this from working for Medibank and large insurance companies and energy companies for over a decade. A lot of companies, it's very difficult to target people if they haven't told you what's going on. So hard triggers, someone's joined, quick, send them a welcome pack. Someone's paid their bill, quick, send them a receipt. Someone's missed their bill, quick, send them SMSs and emails and phone calls hassling them for payment. But if they haven't told you, it's really difficult to action something. And we solve that really difficult, opaque area for businesses, because the people inside HelpPay, they are sharing their bills 10 days before their bills are due on average with family and friends. So these customers are trying to do the right thing. They are aware they are not going to be able to pay in nearly 2 weeks. And they're looking for options, going, hey, I wonder if my mum will help me. I wonder if my dad will help me. I wonder if my best mate will spot me some cash. Whether they pay them back or not afterwards, that's between family or friends. But when someone uploads a bill and gets a payment, the person paying gets a receipt, so you know how much you helped. And the person who is asking for help gets a notification, X amount has been paid off your bill. And one other thing just quickly is you can make anonymous payments. So if you're on a WhatsApp group chat, for example, and people are chucking in a bit of money, you can choose to let that person who's asking for help know, Rowan paid $50 off your electricity bill, or I might say anonymous paid $50 off the electricity bill. So there's that discretion there as well.
Right. And in terms of how would you describe your business model? Is it B2B to C, or is it sort of B2C to B, or a combination of the above?
We started as a B2C because we needed to validate with with the general public and everyday Australians that people would use it before brands would take us up, and that's fair. I understand, brands have a lot at risk. But we're fundamentally flipping a $1.5 billion debt collection industry on its head. We're saying that you do not need to get into debt anywhere near as much as Australians do, and businesses should stop chasing the horse that's bolted and give customers, human solutions for human offering. We are now pivoting more to B to B to C, where businesses can sign up to our business plans, and we allow X amount at various tiers. We are like any SaaS business plan or SaaS plan, we allow a certain amount of benefits per level. And if you're interested for your business, you can go to helppay.com.au and find our pricing and plans page. And then we allow a certain amount of volume of process and transactions to go through. And then that also makes transactions on bills for that brand transaction fee free. And businesses also get access to our API so that they can add bills to, so they can make every one of their bills one-click shareable. They can add unique links per bill. They can chuck them on their e-bills inside my account, inside mobile apps, wherever a customer might go. Everything was fine until last month, and then I had a car accident.
Yep.
Everything was fine until last month.
It's not a straight line. Life's not a straight line, yeah.
You would be surprised. The majority of people that find themselves needing a bit of help is because of an emergency or an accident, something unexpected. So, yeah.
And Rowan, the launch of HelpPay, you mentioned it in 2020 and the lockdowns, etc. But then knowing that your service exists is certainly would be a challenge for you. And how are you going about the messaging in regards to finding those consumers that go, actually, I've been waiting for something like this, and actually, I do need a little bit of help?
We've had a really strong focus on PR. So we've looked at platforms that have helped us really tell our story, either in a video and audio medium, so TV, digital TV, podcasts like yourselves, radio. We've been on 3AW and other sort of publications like news.com.au, the AFR. We've been in the Australian media's really picked up our story because it's really hard to find fintech with a social purpose. It's really hard to find organizations that sort of take transactions and money and then go, actually, rather than getting you into debt in a really sexy way, we'll help you get out of it. We'll help you avoid it. We'll help you get on with life. And so fintech with a heart is a great story, and people have picked that up. And look, we've also done a little bit of social advertising. We haven't spent very much money on marketing. It's a really organic thing. People have just sort of naturally found us. And the other part is the businesses that have partnered with us. So Red and Lumo Energy, Alinta Energy, Tango Energy, and other non-profits have just started to promote us to their customers and say, hey, here's an option. If you're looking after someone or being looked after, you can use HelpPay. And I'm really pleased to say today that Tango Energy is the first energy company in Australia to take up one of our SaaS business plans. So soon, all of the transactions on Tango bills will be free via HelpPay, and Tango now has access to the ability to turn all their bills into a single click, to share and get a bit of help from family, friends, mum, dad. Take care of the people that you love.
Oh, congratulations to you and that new news with Tango. Rowan, a couple of questions. One is people pay their bills differently. There's direct debit. There's the new thing of Pay 2. There's BPay in the post. There's council that sends you in. There's emails, etc., etc. What's the format for you that would be the most easiest for your clients to kind of allow that to happen? I'm guessing, and this might not be right, the direct debit might be a competitor to you.
Direct debit's a really funny one. It is, but direct debit's only good when you can afford to pay.
True. Yep.
So if you don't, if you can have your bill set up on direct debit, but if you find yourself in a sticky situation, it's absolutely useless to you. What we're really encouraging businesses to do is to normalize giving, asking or looking after someone. So put us on your bills next to, here's how to pay via AusPost, here's how to pay via BPay, here's how to pay via Amex, here's how to pay via HelpPay, or get a bit of help via HelpPay. And then again, it's just that normalization of, hey, life happens. We already know that people, give each other, money via peer-to-peer. This is just peer-to-peer with a guarantee that the money goes where it's meant to when you give it.
And Rowan, putting the HelpPay cap on, which you're very proudly wearing during this podcast, which none of the listeners can see, but in 12 months' time, where would you like to see the business?
We'd love to see more Australian businesses adopting HelpPay, and any of BPay's 60,000 businesses can adopt us today. And fortunately for every CEO or person listening today. We don't need any IT integration or backlog. We just work straight away seamlessly with your BPay payment processes. So chances are we might already be sending your business money today. And if you want a lot more of that to happen, please adopt HelpPay. We'd also like to be exploring or an advanced exploration, looking at overseas countries, high care, low social safety net countries such as the US, and even those even countries with high inflows and outflows to Australia. So New Zealand, India, China, those kind of places. There's a lot of people who send money home or have money sent to them for specific purposes, and we think those are natural areas of expansion for us.
And Rowan, we're on the business spotlight on the Fintech Australia podcast. Being a member of Fintech Australia, what would you like the listeners or members out there? How would you like to collaborate, and what are you looking forward to this year?
I'd love it if any business wants to take up HelpPay. Please go to helppay.com.au. Check out our business plans, or get in touch with me on LinkedIn or Andrew Ellett, another co-founder of HelpPay. Look, we love Fintech Australia and the community of fintechs. I love being in a room of other founders, because the excitement and the energy that people have when they're trying to solve the problem the way they're trying to solve it is just so inspiring. So that'll be my big request, I guess. Come and check us out, and if you've got a business that you think adds value to what the social mission and the commercial mission we're on, please join us.
Brilliant, Rowan. Thank you so much for your time today and talking about the HelpPay story, from negative inception to the idea around a barbecue to where you are now with the IT, the tech, and now the next phase of growth in acquiring customers and being commercial with aspirations to go overseas. Really appreciate your time. Looking forward to catching up in person, hopefully at one of these Fintech Australia events.
Chris, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for having me on. And yes, absolutely looking forward to shaking your hand in real life.
Thanks for listening to the Fintech Australia podcast. I'm your host, Chris Titley. The Fintech Australia podcast is a collaboration between Fintech Australia and Sub11. For more information about membership options, news and the events coming up, jump on to the Fintech Australia website. Have a great day. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.